I think protests are very important because people can't ignore chants, people can't ignore large amounts of people. That's in your face, and whatever they're saying, you're gonna have an understanding of that to some extent. You're not gonna be able to ignore it the same way that you ignore posts or the same way that you ignore something that you see on the news. That's in your face, and if you're able to understand it, maybe it gets something kicked up in your head and you come to some new revelation, then the protest has done its job. People of different creeds, different races, different genders, ethnicities all come together to say that this definitely needs to be stopped, and we're gonna be loud about this so that everyone could hear this and not just ignore it.
So if you are committed to Black people being free, some of the things that you have to do are not just show up when it's trendy to show up for Black people. To not just show up for us when we're dead. The real work starts after the hashtags are over. What are you going to read in order to understand the way that you participate in anti-Blackness, the way that you participate in white supremacy? Who are you going to listen to?
When it goes on the news, when it goes in a post, people could see it, but people could also ignore it. You could post Black Lives Matter on your story, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be out there on the front line saying, oh yeah, you know what, they need justice. Because when it's time to be loud, when it's really time to be helpful, most people don't help. They're able to say like, yeah, I sided with you guys, but it's mostly to go under the radar. It's just to say like, yeah, don't give me shit for that. It's just to kind of push it off and say, yeah, I stand with you guys, but don't bring me into it. If the amount of people who are saying that Black Lives Matter actually mattered, there wouldn't be a reason for protests, because that many people would be able to have that conscious change. But there's a disconnect because of the fact that they don't do as they say. They don't care as much as they say they do.
You're marching and everyone is having their voice heard, and whether it be like marching on like town hall or a free way to like get people who normally wouldn't see the cause or understand the hurt and the raw emotions, they see it. They have to see it. They have to walk through you. They have to see you. I think that's where I really do like to see, where the movement and the protests are going, is because it's these people who normally would not have talked to each other being in a space where they can have a discourse. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about it.
His name wasn't Black Man. His name wasn't gangbanger. His name wasn't counterfeiter. His name wasn't...
And that's why I like Black Lives Matter so much, or like everything that's happened around the movement, is that it's very decentralized. You know what I mean? It's very communal based. People from that town getting up and organizing. And it's not, oh, there's a leader or like a guy who's telling everybody what to do. It's very much like, okay, we, the community, have acknowledged that this is a thing we have to do, and we've seen other places do it. Now we have to march. We have to, push for our local government to prosecute these cops or whatever.
What's his name? George Floyd! Why are we here? George Floyd!
I love to see that. That's the future of movements.
We're here today to peacefully mourn.
It's going to be a lot harder for the system to crack down on those movements, because that's what happened to us in the 60s and the 70s, is they assassinated and locked up all of our leaders.
I don't want to see any more lives destroyed.
We still have people from the Native American rights movement that are in prison, and they're never getting out.
Go home or go to your church. This march will not continue.
People that were in the Black civil rights movement, people were murdered by the system or in prison. And their lives were ruined and communities were ripped apart because it challenged the status quo and what made society comfortable.
Today, for the Black people next to you, we are humans. Treat us like such. I need help. I have been victimized and traumatized, because I watched the video they look like me and don't look like you. Spend 2 minutes and 52 seconds talking to them. Find out their story. Find out their name. Just know that I'm just like you. I just happen to be brown. And my brown is beautiful, baby.
Michael Brown, Tyrone Johnson, Breonna Taylor,
I have 5 siblings.
Ahmaud Arbery,
I wouldn't want them to experience what I've experienced.
Alden Sturgis.
To understand that they might experience racism or have experienced racism, that breaks my heart. And so whenever there's a chance for me to be vocal about what I have to say, if I can make a change, even if it's in one person's life, that's what I have to do. Because if I'm not doing anything to stop it, then I'm helping it by ignoring it. And so when you hear those loud protests going down your street and it makes you feel like nervous or just uncomfortable, that's giving you an opportunity to actually listen and change your point of view.
I think healing is important, and then also finding a place of love and compassion for other people even though they're not a part of your group. And not to have a sense of superiority. Yeah, I love my people, but I don't believe we're better than anybody else. We are a part of everybody else. And I think it's all through cooperation and the sharing of ideas that any tangible progress is going to be made.